Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States.
I've been threatened. They've got me coy. No one takes a leprechaun's gold.
How you doing? Welcome to the Film Archives. I'm Dennis, and I recap and review movies here. Some good ones, and some not so good ones. And in the spirit of March and St. Patrick's Day coming up, I thought I would review Leprechaun. This movie is written and directed by Mark Jones, starring Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun, and in her breakout role, Jennifer Aniston as a character named Tori. Without further ado, let's just get into the movie. The movie opens up with the leprechaun. He's kind of rhyming. He's saying, try as they might, people who take my gold won't make it through the night. And it was honestly so funny. But then you get a scene of a dude named Mr. O'Grady. He's just chugging Jameson. He downs the whole bottle right there. He's living his best Irish life. He's feeling good, Shows up back to his house, coming back from a trip to Ireland. I guess he was there to bury his mother, and instead he found a leprechaun and captured him, and by the rules of capturing a leprechaun, he had to give him all his gold. And he's like, yo, check it, we're super rich, we don't need to live in this dump of a house anymore. It's honestly a pretty nice house, but he's like, we don't need to live here anymore, we're gonna go look at mansions, and we're gonna be big chilling now. We made it. We're finally there, boys. We used to be down here, but now we're up here. Anyway, he brings it inside, and kind of, starts unwinding from his long trip, puts his suitcases down and whatnot. Suddenly his wife, she's making tea, doing her thing. She hears a little kid, talking inside the suitcase. So she goes to investigate. She's like, what the heck is this? I got to go check it out. So she checks out the suitcase, opens it up, and lo and behold, it's our boy Warwick Davis. It's the leprechaun. He's like, yo, I know you got my gold, and I want it back. So give it back to me right now. He kind of frightens the missus. She starts, walking backwards. She's real scared of the leprechaun, and she's not watching where she's going. She falls because he scares her. So she falls down the stairs and breaks her neck. It's super brutal stuff. Mr. O'Grady, her husband, he's upstairs and he hears all the commotion. So he comes downstairs. He's like, "What the heck's happening?" And the leprechaun walks out. He's drinking the tea that she just made. He's like, your wife can make a grand cup of tea.
Your wife makes a fine pot of tea, Danny me boy.
He ain't having this. He's like, what did you do with my wife? He pulls out a gun and stuff. He's like, I'm gonna blast you. I'm gonna start blasting you if you don't tell me where she is. And he blasts at the leprechaun. I guess it doesn't really do anything because he disappears to the basement. So Mr. O'Grady goes down there to follow him and, kind of stop him. He goes down there, he sees his wife, then sees her body, and, the leprechaun's kind of making fun of him about it. And he gets super scared, but he pulls out a 4-leaf clover. I guess it's leprechaun's weakness. But he throws those 4-leaf clover on him and shoots him while he's weakened. And then he puts him inside a box. He's going to hold him captive in there and burn him to death. It's super brutal. But, yeah. So then, he's putting him in the box and he's lighting it on fire, and right as he's about to burn the box, he has like a stroke or a heart attack, but yeah, he passes out and couldn't finish the job. So it's pretty sad. The next scene, it says 10 years later, and the house is sort of dilapidated at this point, but you get a scene of Jennifer Aniston. Her character's name's Tori, and her dad, I guess his name's JD, but they've now bought the house. It's been abandoned for 10 years, so they're fixing it up. She bumps into one of the handymen that her dad has hired to help, restore the house, because I guess 10 years is just totally, old and dilapidated at this point. So she runs into the handyman. He's a total hunk. His name's Nathan. He's played by Ken Olant.
Listen, bud. Hey, this is the 90s. Women are treated equal.
Yeah, they never really mention that her dad hired handymen, but, I guess that's what they're there for. It's not just Nathan, but it's a guy named Ozzy and a little kid named Alex. And, Tori is kind of flirting with Nathan. And they hear Ozzy, they hear him scream, so they go check out what's going on, and turns out that Alex, the little kid that they work with, has spilt paint all over him. So they're like, oh man, you rascal, you go in there and get that paint cleaned up off of you. So then Ozzy goes in there looking for the bathroom, trying to clean up the paint off of him. He's just doused in blue paint. It looks like a Blue Man Group. But he starts hearing, like a little kid's voice out of nowhere, and he goes down to the basement to investigate because that's where it's coming from. So he goes down there and he sees that it's coming from a crate, and he's like, how did you get in here, little kid? Like, how do I let you out? And he wipes off the clover, not knowing that was the thing holding the leprechaun in there for the past 10 years. I guess the clover never moved or anything. It's really stupid. But anyway, leprechaun breaks out, and is like super scary looking. The leprechaun mentions he's weakened. He's been in there for 10 years and he's missing his gold, so his powers aren't what they used to be. And Ozzy's like, what the heck are you? And he's like, I'm a shoemaker by trade, but I'm also a leprechaun. It's really weird. Ozzy just straight up dips, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm out of here. I don't want no part of this.
We're smoking reefer, and you don't want no part of this shit.
He comes out, screaming, there's a leprechaun in the basement, troll in the dungeon.
There's a leprechaun in the basement! Oh, there's a leprechaun in the basement!
They go down there and, they're kind of looking around. They only find a rat. The leprechaun already has disappeared at this point. He's gone. They're like, all right, it's fine. Let's just go back upstairs, and let's get back to work. And as they are leaving outside, they see a rainbow all the way across the sky. It's beautiful.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Ozzy, he's like, I'm gonna go look for the gold at the end of this because I just saw the leprechaun. So he takes off running, and Alex, the kid that works with them, he's like, I'll go get him back. I always do this, so let me go get him. And they chase the rainbow down. They come across like an old rusted truck out there. They look in the truck, and Ozzy finds like a gold coin, and he's like, oh, let me see if it's real. Let me, take a bite. And he accidentally swallows the whole coin. It's so stupid, but yeah. Then, they find Alex. He looks in the backseat. He finds a whole bag of gold. So he's like, yeah, I'll keep all this gold, and, we'll hide it. And tomorrow we'll take it into town, and we'll see if it's worth anything. Then the scene goes back to Jennifer Aniston, Tori, and Nathan. They're kind of flirting and, painting together. It's really stupid. They're only using like a little hand brush to paint the whole house and not like a roller. I don't know. It's going to take you so long to do the house that way. Underneath the truck, the leprechaun is like crawling away. He's hiding and stuff. And he starts to just perving on Tori's leg, Jennifer Aniston. He starts touching her up and stuff. It's really gross. But he winds up scratching her because, it's the evil leprechaun, and she freaks out. And so Nathan and the handyman and her dad, JD, come running out to check on her. And they're like, hey, Tori, maybe it was just an animal, I can hear the cat. So let's just go find the cat and I'll prove it to you. So they walk over to a tree, and there's like a hole in a tree, and there's cat sounds coming from inside the tree. And I guess the leprechaun can fit inside trees. It's really stupid, but it's even more stupid that her dad puts his hand in there to try to get the cat out of this hole, which is like, you just don't put your hands in random holes. It's super dumb. But the leprechaun winds up biting him super hard, and leaving like really brutal physical damage, like a lot of damage.
No, that's a lot of damage!
They're like, we gotta take this guy to the hospital. His hand's bleeding super bad. He might need stitches and stuff. It's not good. They all take her dad to the hospital and, try to help him out. And I guess they hold him overnight. I mean, it's really stupid. You probably just need stitches and they let you go. But they're like, yeah, we're going to keep him here overnight. And you never see her dad again after this, but it's fine. The leprechaun follows them, on a tricycle, which I thought was super funny, but it's like a little saw bike. He like follows them to the hospital that way. It's really weird. But anyway, Alex and Ozzy take the coins to like a pawn shop. They want to see how much the gold is worth. So, they're talking to the shopkeeper. They're like, hey, how much is this worth? And he's like, one coin might be worth $500 if it's all gold. But if it's, it's got history to it, it might be priceless. It might be a historical artifact. So do you mind if I study this, keep it here overnight? So he pays them for the coin, and they kind of leave. Then you see the shopkeeper, he's studying the coin, going through his books about it and all that. And, he's like, all right, I'll put this back into the safe for now, And inside the safe, suddenly, guess who's in there? Guess who's in there? Oh yeah, it's the Leprechaun. You know, he pops out of that bitch and he's like, nah, man, I want my gold. Like, you're a horrible shopkeeper. Give me my gold. And he takes that gold coin back from him, and he of course murders the shopkeeper. You know, he grabs like a pogo stick from the random stock of things and just jumps on him up and down and winds up like impaling him multiple times. It's super brutal stuff. Really brutal stuff. But anyway, you know, they all meet back up at the cafe, and they're ready to go home, you know, because they're going to pick up her dad tomorrow. We get another scene of the Leprechaun. You know, he's ripping out of the pawn shop, and he's coming out of there, and he's got like a pimped out set of Power Wheels now. You know, he's driving down the highway with it, and the cop sees him, so they're like, you know, there's a little kid over here, I'm going to pull this guy over. Pulls over the Leprechaun, you know, not thinking that it's you know, actual Leprechaun. He just thinks it's a kid in a mask, and he's like, you know, it's a little late for you to be out here. This scene is so stupid. And he's like, no, man, I'm 600 years old, bro. Like, I'm an old ass Leprechaun. And the cop's like, yeah, whatever. And you know, the Leprechaun winds up like slashing his face with his long nails. It's really horrible. And the cop is really dumb. He just like takes off running. He's so scared of him. He runs into the woods. This cop's horribly trained. So, you know, he was running through the woods, and instead of pulling out his gun, he pulls out his little bobby stick, you know, trying to fight the Leprechaun. He wants to escape super bad. He doesn't want no part of this. Leprechaun's just playing games with him at this point. You know, he's running through the trees and, you know, doing some crouching tiger, hidden dragon like stuff with all the magic. He's hiding in the tree above him, so he jumps down, breaks his neck, and murders him right then and there, you know. Super brutal stuff. Leprechaun, as soon as he kills the cop, you know, he goes back to the house, and you know, he's looking for the rest of his gold, and he's tearing through the cabinets, and then he gathers up all the shoes and he starts cleaning them, you know. It's really bizarre. It's really weird. And we go back to Nathan and Tori and Alex and Ozzy, and they head back to the house. And as soon as they walk in, they see all the shoes on the table, and the food has been rifled through, and the cabinets are all askew. Ozzy's like, oh, dude, it's the Leprechaun. He told me he was a shoemaker. Like, this is bad news. And Nathan, he's like, nah, it could have just been a bear. You know, they come through here all the time, which I don't think's any better. You know, if it's a bear, that's still bad news. They start hearing a bell outside, you know, and it's like, let's go check it out. You know, Nathan wants to be a hero, so he's like, I'll go check it out. You guys stay here. Let me go out there and investigate. So he goes out there, and, you know, he accidentally walks into a bear trap, because I guess there are bears in the area. So the Leprechaun set a bear trap, and, you know, Nathan walks into it, and his leg gets caught in there. It's terrible looking. I have like a irrational fear of bear traps for some reason. They just creep me out, you know. I feel like one wrong move and they're gonna collapse on you. Maybe it's too much Resident Evil 4. But if you know, you know. The Leprechaun starts attacking him. You know, he's trying to murder him there. And Tori hears him in trouble, so they come out to try to rescue him. And they're like, what's going on, you know? And they're like, oh, it's actually a Leprechaun. And Nathan's like, Alex, you go get the shotgun. So Nathan, you know, starts shooting at the Leprechaun, and he blasts him with the shotgun like friggin' 100 times, you know? It just suddenly the Leprechaun disappears, you know? But then, yeah, they're carrying Nathan to the truck. You know, they're going to take him to the hospital and stuff like that. So they load him up in there, and everybody's in the cab. You know, they're trying to leave to the hospital, and the truck won't start. I guess the kid's the only one who knows how to fix this truck. So they're like, hey, you know, Alex, you know what to do. Go out there and fix the distributor cap. And, you know, he pops the hood, and guess who's in the hood, bro? Guess who's under the hood? You guessed it. It's the Leprechaun. He's in there, and he's eating the parts, like the cables and stuff, to the distributor cap. It's really weird. But, you know, it's like, bruh, you send the kid to fix the car? Like, out of all the people, and given the situation and the things that you just saw happen, you send the, like, 10-year-old kid to fix your car and get it to start? It's like, bruh. Leprechaun comes out, and he starts attacking the kid, so the kid runs back into the truck, and, you know, he breaks through the windshield, and they wind up fending him off with the lighter, you know, and burn his nose. So the Leprechaun runs into the barn, and they're like, wow, that was so scary, you know. And suddenly Leprechaun comes out, and he's driving the Power Wheels from earlier that he took from the pawn shop, and I don't even know what to say about this part. It is so stupid. Suddenly the Power Wheels is like super yoked, and it's been totally pimped my ride. And, you know, it's got like a pitchfork. Like, I don't even know when he would have time to do this, but he rams the truck, and it flips the truck over. It's so stupid. But, you know, house. It's fine. So, they take off running back into the house because the truck is flipped over and they can't do anything with it. So they run into the house. It's really dumb, but they go back inside, and Tori asks Alex to go to the fridge and get some ice for Ozzy's ear and all the wounds that they've suffered at this point. And guess who's in the fridge? Just guess. I'll give you one guess. Yes, it's the Leprechaun. He's inside the fridge, and he jumps out and he starts attacking them all in there. It's really scary stuff. Honestly, it was like 15 to 20 minutes of him just disappearing all over the house. It was really kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie. But then, they're confused because, Tori's like, maybe he just wants the gold. So, Ozzy and Alex are like, well, we hid some gold earlier inside the well. And she's like, all right, well, everyone's wounded, so I'm going to get the shotgun and I'll go get the gold and I'll give it back to him. And maybe he will leave us alone, He goes up to the well, she gets the gold. And I find this hard to believe that the Leprechaun can sense gold in a pawn shop, but, he can't see the whole bag of gold or sense it, 10 feet away from the house and the barn that he was in. It's fine. But, anyway, she gives him the gold, and he's counting it up, and he realizes, he's like, they tricked me. There's only 99 pieces of gold here. They lied. So the one piece of gold is the one that Ozzy swallowed. So it's not good, And he's like, this is bullshit. Going back in there, I'm gonna kill these fools and get my money. I'm gonna get my bread. Ozzy's like, I think I know what he wants. He probably wants that last piece of gold that I ate. I got to give it to him. And they're like, no, Ozzy, we'll figure out how to stop him. And he's like, then Ozzy mentions, well, let's just go ask the previous owner of the house. He's just chilling in the rest home. Okay. But this part's so stupid. They all grab the box of shoes that he had cleaned earlier, and they go outside and they start throwing it at the Leprechaun to distract him. Because I guess he's got a foot fetish. He likes that new toe smell. So they're throwing the shoes at him, and he's shining them and just throwing them back into the dirt immediately. Really stupid. But they get into a Jeep that was there the whole time. It's insane. But yeah, Tori winds up going into the Jeep and taking off to the rest home. It's really stupid. It's so stupid. She goes to the room where she believes McGrady is, and she approaches the man, and she's like, hey, we need your help. How do we kill the Leprechaun? And surprise, surprise, as soon as the guy turns around, it is the Leprechaun. He's already there, and he's in disguise. He's like an Assassin's Creed status. He's in the wheelchair. He's got a wig on, the whole thing, And I love his commitment to the disguise because throughout the next couple of scenes, he just chases Tori, Jennifer Aniston's character, around inside the wheelchair. It's so stupid. But anyway, he runs into the elevator, and out of nowhere, McGrady, the real one, falls through the ceiling, and he's super beat up, and the Leprechaun's already murdered him, and I guess put him in the roof of the elevator, which is really convenient. So I'll tell you how to stop the Leprechaun. You got to get a magic, I guess a rare 4-leaf clover from the patch of clovers near the house. And she's like, all right, well, we'll go back and do that. And she starts digging through, the clover patch and is trying to find this 4-leaf clover. And Leprechaun's like, I ain't having that. So he shows up and stops her and starts chasing her, which is so stupid. There's so many inconsistencies in this movie. He can teleport and vanish and get to the rest home before her, but he can't catch her. It's so stupid, dude. She finally manages to escape him. She runs to Nathan and Ozzy, and she asks them to help her. We got to go look for the 4-leaf clover. It's the only way to stop him. So they agree, of course, and they all start looking together, and they can't find the 4-leaf clover, and Tori's about to give up. She's like, this isn't real. There's no such thing as a 4-leaf clover. And, I know they're kind of rare, but Jesus, she acts like it's some sort of freak phenomenon that only appears, I don't know. It's really stupid. But, she's about to give up, and Ozzy's like, you can't give up. You have to believe. It's the only way the 4-leaf clover will appear is if you believe. And, sure enough, magically it appears in her hand. It's super magical. It's a miracle. Meanwhile, Alex has taken the bear trap, and he's setting it up in the barn. He's not afraid of the Leprechaun, and he's going to capture him up in that bear trap. Little does he know, the Leprechaun's already in the barn, and starts attacking Alex. It's really bad stuff. It's looking pretty grim at this point. But, you know, the rest of them hear Alex screaming, so they rush to the barn to try to save him, you know, and they throw the leprechaun off of him, and, you know, they get Alex up, and they're like, you know, you better leave him alone. And Ozzy, he speaks up. He's like, I'm the one you want. I'm the one who ate the coin, so leave the kid alone, you know. And Leprechaun doesn't like that, so he's like, boy, I want the coin. Give me gold. Alex has balled up the 4-leaf clover, and he put it in his slingshot, and he shoots it into the Leprechaun's mouth. And perfect shot, dude. Perfect shot. Anyway, the Leprechaun starts melting. It's like super Wicked Witch of the West status. The CGI is straight up fire. It's 10 out of 10 right here. And, you know, he starts melting, and he falls down the well. Nathan, he doesn't think that's enough, so he grabs some gasoline that I guess is just chilling near the well. You know, it's just conveniently placed there. And you know, he also has matches because it's just super convenient. And you know, he throws the match down there, and you get a huge explosion. I don't think that would actually happen, but you know, the whole thing explodes. It's morning time at this point. It's been a horrible night for them, but you know, it's morning, and the cops show up, and they're just kind of watching the well burn and the fire. But then we get a little voiceover of the Leprechaun still talking, you know. So I don't think he's fully dead, but you know, Leprechaun says some pretty wise shit. He's like, you know, I think I'll get me gold, and that's the end of the movie. Honestly, it was kind of enjoyable. I would rate it like a 2 out of 5. Could have been a lot better, you know. But yeah, was this movie worth watching? I would say, I mean, if you've never seen it, sure, but honestly, it wouldn't go out of your way to watch it. I only watched it in the spirit of, you know, St. Patrick's Day and March Madness and all that. But that does it for this video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace!